Neil Shubin, Your Inner Fish, A Journey into the 3.5 Billion Year History of the Human Body. Prepare to embark on an exciting journey into the 3.5 billion year history of the human body, as we explore the remarkable book, Your Inner Fish, by Neil Shubin. By examining fossils, DNA, and the evolutionary development of various species, Shubin connects the dots between humans and ancient creatures, revealing our relationship with long-extinct animals. Topics covered in this summary include the fascinating Tiktaalik fossil, evidence of limb developments, how different species adapt to environments, and the historical development of our sensory organs. This captivating summary will display the incredible ways our bodies are linked to the ancient past.
The significance of fossils. Fossil fuels not only fulfill the energy needs of modern society, but they also reveal insights about our planet's past and the life that once inhabited it. Fossils found in rocks indicate the evolutionary development of species and reveal how certain animal groups, like tetrapods, transitioned from living in water to living on land. The Tiktaalik fossil, with a combination of fish and tetrapod traits, represents an important link in this transition. Fossils found in deserts, mountains, and the Arctic tell us about the ancient environments that were once home to diverse forms of life. Tiktaalik and human evolution. Tiktaalik's unique bone structure connects humans to a 375 million-year-old species and sheds light on the evolution of land animals. The discovery of Tiktaalik, a part fish, part tetrapod creature, has brought scientists closer to understanding the evolution of land animals, including humans. Tiktaalik had bones that allowed it to push itself up, similar to how humans do push-ups. One of these bones was an early form of the elbow joint, which allowed the creature to move its lower arm. This simple elbow, along with a primitive wrist, resemble those of a human arm, indicating a link between humans and Tiktaalik. However, Tiktaalik was not the only species with these bone structures. All vertebrates who've settled on land have a similar bone design, including two lower leg bones connected to a strong upper leg bone and an ankle, which allows them to walk on land. These similarities show that different species can have comparable bone structures, and their bones change over time to adapt to different lifestyles. In conclusion, Tiktaalik's bone structure provides a connection between humans and a 375 million-year-old species and helps in understanding the evolution of land animals. Adaptations through time. Different species have unique adaptations allowing them to survive the challenges of their environments. Scientists can examine bones and teeth to track these adaptations. Tetrapods, which used their limbs to navigate their lifestyles, colonized various regions of the world. Cetaceans returned to the oceans and evolved shortened upper arms and elongated fingers, which eventually developed into fins for better swimming. Amphibians evolved longer and partially fused leg bones for jumping, while horses developed long central toes for speed. Teeth also give insight into animals' lifestyle and eating habits, such as humans' varied teeth for cutting, chewing, and biting. In contrast, crocodiles have larger teeth and the ability to replace them throughout life, reflecting their carnivorous and predatory nature, which necessitates a quick kill. These adaptations developed over time, allowing each species to thrive in their respective environments. The shared gene that initiated the evolution of limbs. All species with limbs possess a shared gene, sonic hedgehog, which regulates the development of limbs. Research indicates that the genes for limb development evolved from fin genes because fish species appeared before those with limbs. Scientists conducted experiments by transferring the sonic hedgehog protein from a mouse to the fin tissue of a skate and observed an extra set of mirrored fins developing. Similarly, a chicken embryo developed an extra set of mirrored fingers when genetically active tissue that regulates the development of limbs was transplanted. The gene initiates the synthesis of the body's own protein, which triggers limb development in all animals, including humans. This finding proves that the genetic basis of appendages must be similar because only comparable genes can initiate the synthesis of similar proteins. The research highlights the important evolutionary aspect of appendage development and its link to shared genes among species. Evolution of multicellular organisms. A billion years ago, the Earth was home to unicellular organisms like bacteria. However, with increasing oxygen levels, multicellular organisms evolved. Having a body became an advantageous trait since it allowed organisms to move faster and find prey easily. To develop a body, cells need to connect and communicate with each other. Molecular rivets in cells bind to similarly structured rivets on the same type of cells, thus forming tissues. Body cells communicate by sending signals to each other, which ensure that they divide and die as needed. This complex process emerged due to the need for higher oxygen levels and provided selective advantages to organisms. Building organs and bodies. In the first 2 weeks of embryonic development, all vertebrates develop 3 layers of tissue called germ layers, which are responsible for building their organs and body structures. The outer layer forms the skin and nervous system, the middle layer forms the skeleton and muscles, and the inner layer triggers the development of inner organs. Scientists have shown that a small patch of tissue with all 3 germ layers contains all the information needed to develop the entire body, as demonstrated in a salamander embryo experiment. Additionally, every animal with a body has Hox genes responsible for determining their body plan, which includes the size and shape of body areas, front-to-back organization, and body axis. Any mutation or absence of Hox genes can lead to severe consequences, such as the development of 2 heads in frogs or the deformation of a mouse's back. The head's blueprint. The head's development is based on 4 arches, which create different structures in humans, including the jaws and ear bones. Improper development of these arches can cause birth defects. Sharks have similar arches that form their jaws, but they lack ear bones, instead using their 3rd and 4th arches for gill control. The similarity in the head structure between humans and sharks provides evidence for their biological relation. The head may seem like a complex and inscrutable part of the human body, but it owes its development to 4 arches that shape and give rise to various structures. The first arch creates the jaw and ear bones, the second forms the muscles used for facial expressions and the 3rd ear bone, and the last 2 control the throat, enabling us to swallow and talk. Improper formation of these arches can cause serious birth defects, such as stunted jaws and hearing deficiencies. Interestingly, these arches can also be found in fish, even though there are some differences in how they develop. Sharks, for instance, create their jaws from the first arch, while their 3rd and 4th arches form the gills instead of throat structures. Nonetheless, the blueprint for the head's development in sharks is remarkably similar to humans, providing evidence for their shared ancestry. The head's blueprint is just one example of how evolution has resulted in the diversification of species from a common ancestral origin. Whether you're a fan of sharks or fascinated by human biology, this discovery is sure to interest you. Evolution of mammalian ear bones. The 3 middle ear bones unique to mammals evolved from their jaws, according to scientific research based on fossils. Reptiles have only 1 middle ear bone similar to humans, whose origin can be traced to fish jaws. The 2 other mammalian middle ear bones evolved from the back of reptilian jaws, which became smaller and migrated to the ear during the evolutionary process. The human inner ear, involved in both hearing and balance, traces its origin from the sensory organs of fish, called the lateral line, which allows fish to sense water flow direction and distortions. The lateral line is made of receptors, gel, sensory hair cells and nerves, which also stimulate the human inner ear's sensory hair cells and nerves. The discovery suggests that the fish's lateral line and the human inner ear have common functions and structures, illustrating their common origin. The science of smell. Our sense of smell is a valuable trait that helps us distinguish between safe and poisonous foods. Surprisingly, it can be traced back to fish, whose sense of smell also stemmed from specialized tissues in their nostrils. Humans have a similar system, but with distinct differences due to the differences in smell chemistry between air and water. Still, all mammals have smell receptor genes to some degree, but many have lost their functions throughout time, as seen in the blowhole of whales. Despite having all the smell receptor genes, only 70% of these genes work for modern humans, signaling a decline in our reliance on smell throughout history. This insight into our sense of smell shows how the past and present intersect to shape our world. The evolution of color vision. Humans developed their advanced color vision as a result of the changing world around them as seen through the evolution chain. Sight is undoubtedly the most critical sense for humans, with 70% of all sensory cells being light-sensing cells. However, this hasn't always been the case, as the roots of color vision can be traced back to our primate ancestors. The evolution of the world around monkeys, with the increased color diversity of their food sources, led to the development of color vision. This evolution is a constantly evolving process, and the cells in our eyes that detect light continue to develop and improve. These light-sensing cells contain a protein called opsin responsible for initiating a chain reaction that results in the transmission of information to our brain. The number and structure of the opsin differ among animals and human beings, depending on the lifestyle and needs of the animal. Humans have 3 different opsins for their advanced color vision, enabling us to perceive a much more comprehensive and precise range of colors than most animals. Our evolutionary background has influenced the development of our sensory organs, and the evolution of color vision is just one example of the impact. This evolution has come with challenges, many of which our primal ancestors caused. Nevertheless, humans have adapted and continue to refine our bodies and sensory abilities to adapt to the world around us. The evolution of color vision is one such adaptation that enhances our ability to perceive and navigate our surroundings. Our evolutionary inheritance. Our evolved traits have caused new problems for our modern lifestyles, from sleep apnea to hiccups. Our human lifestyle has drastically deviated from that of our animal ancestors. Most of us spend our days sitting at desks in front of computers, unlike the active lives of our forebears. The sedentary lifestyle leads to health issues like heart diseases and obesity. However, many other adaptations to our modern way of life have also caused problems for us. Take sleep apnea, for example, a condition where breathing suddenly stops during sleep. Our ability to talk, which evolved to adjust our body plan, has led to this affliction. When we sleep, most of our muscles relax, including the ones that control the back of our throats. As a consequence, the walls of our throats become flexible and collapse, causing problems with our breathing. Hiccups also have an evolutionary explanation. The spasm of the nerve controlling our breathing is what causes hiccups. The convulsion stimulates the contraction of muscles that control our diaphragm, which leads to sharp breathing. Our fish ancestors' position of the brainstem that controlled breathing was beneficial as it was close to the gills and throat's muscles. However, in mammals, including humans, the brainstem is further away from the controlling muscles, leading to hiccups. Thus, our evolutionary inheritance from our animal predecessors has resulted in new problems in our modern lifestyles. From air-related conditions to small spasms, our evolved traits have been the cause.
As we conclude our journey through your inner fish, it's clear that our evolutionary history has a significant influence on our current physical form. From uncovering the connection between fish and tetrapods, to exploring our adaptations in sensory organs, and even some unintended consequences of our evolution, the book highlights the intricate relationship between the diverse species on our planet. The origins and development of the human body are intricately woven with those of our ancient ancestors. Shubin's exploration of our evolutionary past will give you an appreciation for the interconnections between humans and the world's vast array of creatures from the dawn of time.